It was Christmas Eve in the heart of Manhattan. The kind of night where the city lights twinkled like false promises through floor-to-ceiling windows. I stepped into my cousin Sophia's sprawling penthouse on the Upper East Side, 8,000 square feet of polished granite countertops, custom chandeliers from Milan, and views that screamed old money. The air was thick with the scent of roasted prime rib and aged bourbon, but beneath it all lingered the familiar sting of condescension. My family, the Carters, had always turned these gatherings into a stage for flaunting their success, and I was the perpetual understudy, the quiet one they pitied. Aunt Margaret greeted me first, her air kiss barely grazing my cheek as her diamond bracelets clinked like chains. "Emily, darling, still in that cozy little walk-up in Chelsea? How resilient of you." Her smile was all teeth, no warmth. Her eyes scanning my faded sweater, thrift store jeans, and worn-out sneakers. I'd chosen them deliberately. A costume to hide the truth. Let them believe I was scraping by. "Yes, Aunt Margaret," I replied softly, my voice steady despite the knot in my stomach. "Still there. It's home." The words tasted like ash, reminding me of years of their subtle digs. The way they'd whisper about my dead-end consulting gig while toasting their real estate empires. Sophia glided over next, her designer gown shimmering under the lights, her perfectly highlighted hair catching every glow. "Cousin, we were just chatting about the latest market flips." But oh, she cooed, patting my arm like I was a lost puppy. "You're still renting, aren't you? That must be tough in this economy." I thought of my actual residence, the entire top 2 floors of a brownstone with a private terrace and skyline views, but I just nodded, forcing a humble smile. "Yeah, still renting. Chelsea's getting pricey, but I manage." Inside, the anger simmered, a slow burn from all the times they dismissed me as the family failure, the one who didn't inherit the Carter drive. My other cousin, Ethan, swirled his single malt scotch from across the room, his voice booming with that faux concern. "What's the rent these days in Chelsea? $2,000? $2,200? He chuckled, as if the number was a punchline. I played along. "Around there. Yeah, it's a stretch sometimes." In truth, the rental income from the other units in my buildings alone cleared 7 figures monthly. But revealing that would spoil the game, the one where I endured their mockery to build in the shadows. Sophia's husband, Robert, leaned in then, his cologne a nauseating mix of sandalwood and overconfidence. "Hey, Emily, I've got some starter condos on the market, small, affordable units. Perfect for someone like you starting out." I knew all about Robert's investments, over-leveraged high-rises riddled with code violations, propped up by shady loans and teetering on foreclosure. I'd seen the notices hit his desk last week through my networks. "That's generous," I murmured, accepting a glass of mid-tier Cabernet that paled against the vintage I'd left chilling at home. The humiliation twisted deeper, fueling the quiet rage I'd nursed for years. Uncle Harold boomed from a spot by the marble fireplace, his voice carrying like a gavel. "Speaking of deals, did you hear about the Hudson Yards block sale? Whole complex. Prime spot. Some ghost buyer paid cash. No questions." I sipped my wine, hiding the curl of my lips. That ghost was me. Through a web of LLCs, Emily Carter Enterprises snapping up the block plus 4 adjacent properties. "Sounds impressive," Ethan's wife, Laura, sighed, tugging at her silk blouse. "We bid on a unit there, but now it's all leases at insane rates. Even the studios are going for penthouse prices." Robert snorted. "On that note, Emily, how do you swing that rent anyway? Still in? What was it? Freelance advising?" His tone dripped with pity, echoing the betrayal I'd felt since childhood, the way they'd cut me out of family trusts, assuming I lacked ambition. Something like that, I said vaguely. My mind flashing to my real headquarters, a sleek office on the 50th floor of a midtown tower, overseeing the portfolio I'd amassed while they partied. Sophia raised her voice for the room. You know, we have a junior spot opening in our property management division. Great way to get your foot in the door. Learn the ropes from scratch. The laughter rippled through the group. A chorus of superiority that clawed at old wounds, the isolation. The Nightside cried over their rejection, vowing silence until the moment was right. I glanced at my phone. Perfect timing. My management firm was dispatching the New Year's lease renewals, including to every soul in this room. Can't imagine still renting at your age, Ethan slurred. On his fourth drink. You gotta own something by now. Anything. The room erupted in chuckles, their faces flushed with holiday cheer and unspoken scorn. It was the breaking point. The damning of years of quiet suffering ready to burst. Funny you mention ownership, I said, my voice cutting through like ice. I pulled up my app, mirroring it to their massive flat screen. I've been wanting to chat about some updates to your properties. The laughter died. My property? Sophia frowned, her glass tilting. What are you on about? The screen filled with deeds, each one listing Emily Carter Enterprises as owner. See, I don't just rent that walk-up. I own the building and yours. And most on this avenue. Silence crashed down as I scrolled. Sophia's penthouse, Ethan's office tower, Robert's failing developments, all under my umbrella. Impossible, Robert stammered, his face draining of color as he spotted his addresses. These are held by Apex Realty Group, a subsidiary of Emily Carter Enterprises, I confirmed. The satisfaction bittersweet, laced with the pain of their past betrayals, along with Vanguard Holdings, Prime Assets, and the firms you've been undercutting. Sophia's glass shattered on the hardwood, red wine blooming like blood on her Persian rug. But you live in a dump, Laura whispered. A strategic base for scouting deals, I said coolly. Like that Hudson Yards block Uncle Harold mentioned. I keep things discreet. Ethan choked. How many do you own? In the city? 32 residential. Plus commercial spaces and lots. I paused, letting it sink. Oh, and as of Monday, controlling interest in Robert's sinking ship. Robert slumped, murmuring about foreclosures. From my lenders, I nodded. We'll restructure, starting with new leadership. The room froze, Aunt Margaret gripping her necklace, Uncle Harold's scotch suspended midair, Sophia swaying like she'd been slapped. But you're just the struggling one, Laura faltered. I straightened my sweater, the facade cracking. Incredible what you achieve when no one believes in you. My phone buzzed, renewals sent. Their devices lit up. Check those, I advised. Heading out. New rates apply. Especially the hikes. The elevator doors sealed their stunned expressions. And I exhaled. The release mingled with a hollow ache. Merry Christmas. Indeed. The fallout hit like a storm in the following days. Texts flooded in from my penthouse, the real one. 6,000 square feet concealed behind that dump facade. Sophia, Emily. This 35% increase must be a glitch. Ethan, about that apartment job, let's talk. Robert, we can negotiate the buyout. Right? From my lounge. With its panoramic views. My COO, Jordan, updated me. Robert stormed his offices this morning, accounts locked per protocol. Sophia's consulting lawyers, they're all backing off once they see the records. Jordan grinned faintly. No one's touching Emily Carter Enterprises. I stared out at the skyline. My buildings like sentinels. The renewals were rolling, fair market adjustments, ending the nepotism that had bled my assets dry. Uncle Harold buzzed next. pleading for a meet. The family head finally gets it, Jordan noted. His empire's on leased land. Book it for tomorrow, I said. My office, the real one. Watching the feeds. I saw Robert ranting at staff. His world crumbling. Deploy the handover crew, I ordered. It was time he tasted real defeat. Morning came. And I arrived at my tower in a tailored suit, Prada. Not thrift, heels clicking with authority. Uncle Harold entered. His bluster gone. Eyes widening at the ops center, walls of monitors tracking my holdings. Analysts humming over data. Different from my walk-up. Huh, I quipped. Emily. Why hide it? He collapsed into a seat. Aged by revelation. Hide what? That while you ridiculed me. I was acquiring the city block by block. That your advice was relics from the 90s? That Robert's outfit was a house of cards. Violations everywhere. We didn't see, you didn't care, I snapped. The old hurt surging. On screen. Robert was boxed out. Belongings in tow. He's done. Uncle Harold followed my gaze. Years ago. Really. Just clueless. I flashed his financials, leverage nightmares. Sublet scams. Ignored codes. Think I'd allow that in my properties? Your properties, he echoed. Defeated. Remember Thanksgiving last year? Sophia hiking rents via Robert. Smirking at my struggles. He nodded. Bought her tower next day. Could have jacked her rate then. But I waited, observed your schemes. And now? Market rates for all. No favors. I rose, gazing out. This is how pros run it. The family won't forget this, he cautioned. I smiled thinly. What makes you think I care about absolution? His phone pinged the renewal for his own loft. Once a steal through Robert. Read it close, I said. Strict on sublets and occupancy. He paled. Another fraud exposed. How did you become this? I always was. You just never looked beyond the pity party. Jordan knocked. Handover needs sign-off. Proceed. Full audit by Friday. To Uncle Harold, time to leave. Your lease awaits, and deadlines don't bend. He shuffled out. The once mighty reduced. Jordan slid in reports. More acquisitions pending. Developments greenlit. A week post-reveal. The group chat ignited, blame flying at Robert for hiding my control. As if they'd ever probed. Jordan, Sophia's listing her place. Tried, I corrected. Pulling her lease. Forgot landlord approval for sales, my approval. She'd been subletting illegally. Pocketing profits. Issue the notice. Inspect everything. Ethan called frantic about his office lease tripling. On cam. He paced. Papers strewn. Offer standard terms, I said. No sweetheart deals. Aunt Margaret demanded a summit at her co-op, another gem via Robert. In my flagship tower. Decline? Jordan asked. Nah. I'll go. Time to school them. They huddled in her opulent space. Funded by skimmed savings. Faces etched with dread. Emily, Aunt Margaret began. About this mess, the mess of lease breaches? Or Robert's tax dodges? I cut in. Claiming the view. Sophia gasped. Ethan fidgeted. We're kin, Uncle Harold pleaded. Some deal. Like the ones draining my millions? I projected spreadsheets, lost revenue from their perks. Sublets. Evasions. Sophia's row glowed, $500K skimmed. Ethan's, $3 million underpaid. But Robert said, Robert defrauded. You joined in. Mocking me all the while. I cued the Christmas footage, their laughs echoing. I've endured this for years, entitlement. Cuts. Superiority. What do you want? Ethan broke. Compliant renters. Fair rents. Accountability. I stood. Actions bite back. Emails dropped. Violation notices. IRS flags. You're turning us in? Aunt Margaret gasped. Enforcing rules, I said. Robert ignored them. This destroys us, Ethan whined. No, educates. At the door, Real Estate 101 starts now. Back in ops. Jordan, Sophia's sublets evicted. Ethan's scouting jersey. Robert's audit? SEC sniffing. I surveyed my domain. The sun on my towers. They'd learn. One hike at a time. A month later. From my penthouse perch. Headlines blared. Emily Carter, the shadow mogul who outbuilt her family. Jordan briefed. Sophia downsized to Brooklyn off your grid. Wise. Ethan's firm? Hoboken Strip Mall. I smirked at his past jabs. Robert? SEC probe heating up. Uncle Harold arrived. Humbled in off-rack clothes. How's the lease? He winced. Tough pill. Like learning your failure niece rules the skyline. I deserved it, we all did, he conceded. Teach me proper. I eyed him. Recalling his lectures amid nepotism. Why? You're the real deal. Show us success sans shortcuts. Screens lit with my next venture. Eco towers on overlooked lots. Lesson 1. Those derelicts on 5th? Bought cheap last year. Groundbreaking soon. His eyes widened. While we flaunted. You visioned. 3 rules, I said. Start entry level. Ops. Upkeep. Tenants. Merit only, no kin perks. And mentor the rest if they humble. He agreed. Phones buzzed. Sophia. Ethan. Margaret seeking in. Orientation Monday. 8 a.m. at my walk-up, Ops Hub. Uncle Harold chuckled faintly. What they miss sneering. Post apart. Jordan. Values up 150% since reveal. Pro management pays. Confirms poured in even Robert post probe. Basic access badges I ordered. Earn upgrades. Dusk fell. My empire glow. The overlooked had risen, now they'd follow. Paying the price of past slights.